Hello, Golden State Warriors fan. We're back with an exclusive video bringing you the latest updates. First of all, subscribe to the channel and like the video. It's crucial for you to stay informed with the news daily. Without further ado, let's get to the news. The atmosphere around the Golden State Warriors has always been filled with drama, victories, and a never-ending storyline of how egos and ambitions collide in the NBA spotlight. But this week, something heavier than a simple tactical discussion has surfaced, and it involves Coach Steve Kerr and young forward Jonathan Kuminga. According to whispers that started surfacing from insiders close to the locker room, Kerr was allegedly caught expressing frustration and even dismissing the idea of continuing to rely on Kuminga, going as far as saying, "He doesn't play with me anymore." Now, in the NBA world where words quickly travel like wildfire and get magnified by media and fans alike, such a statement immediately created a storm of speculation. People began to wonder if this was a moment of heat, perhaps just an emotional outburst after a tough game, or if it was the reflection of a deeper rupture between coach and player. The timing could not be worse, as the Warriors are in the middle of an adjustment period, trying to balance the minutes of veterans like Stephen Curry, Klay Thompson, and Draymond Green with the development of younger pieces. Kerr's supposed words hit like a thunderclap, leaving analysts and fans dissecting every gesture, substitution pattern, and sideline expression to figure out if the relationship with Kuminga has truly reached the breaking point. For those who have followed Kuminga since his arrival to the league, the whispers of conflict are not entirely surprising. A player of immense athleticism and natural scoring ability, Kuminga has always been described as someone with incredible upside, but also in need of consistency, patience, and trust from his coaching staff. Over the past 2 seasons, debates on sports shows frequently centered on whether Kerr was fully committed to giving Kuminga the developmental minutes he needed to grow, or whether the coach remained too reliant on his veteran core to gamble with the inexperience of youth. When Kerr supposedly uttered that sharp phrase about no longer wanting Kuminga in his plans, it gave a new twist to that long-running discussion. Is Kerr simply confirming what critics have long suspected, that he does not truly see Kuminga as part of the Warriors' immediate championship path? Or is it more personal, a matter of trust, body language, and locker room dynamics? These questions fuel the rumor mill, making each practice report, each bench reaction, and each small comment from teammates part of the larger puzzle. Fans, desperate for clarity, are left speculating while the team keeps official silence. The complexity of this situation grows when considering the Warriors' current trajectory. The franchise is not just any team. It is a dynasty trying to stretch its dominance into yet another era, and such dynasties are always vulnerable to cracks from within. If a young player like Kuminga feels neglected or discarded, and if those feelings are validated by words allegedly from Kerr himself, the potential fallout can be massive. Locker rooms in the NBA are built on trust, and once that trust is shaken, it rarely recovers easily. Kerr has built his reputation as a player's coach, a man who manages egos, mediates conflicts, and fosters cohesion. But now his image is being tested in a way rarely seen. Did he really mean what he said, or was it just frustration caught at the wrong moment? And if he did mean it, is the organization prepared to support him even if it risks alienating a young cornerstone talent? The Warriors' front office is known for weighing long-term strategy carefully, and whispers about potential trades, minutes restrictions, or even a reshuffling of the rotation have already begun circulating among journalists covering the team closely. Another aspect of this story that cannot be ignored is how the Warriors veterans are reacting behind closed doors. Curry, Thompson, and Green are not just icons, but leaders whose influence stretches into every corner of the franchise. If they sense division between coach and young talent, their role becomes critical in either healing the wound or quietly choosing a side. Historically, stars tend to align with coaches who have already delivered championships, but they also recognize the necessity of youth injection to keep a team relevant in a league constantly evolving with speed and athleticism. The silence from the veteran trio so far is almost as loud as any public statement could be. Without their mediation, rumors gain strength, painting a picture of Kuminga potentially isolated, trying to navigate the brutal world of NBA politics, where one sentence can define the course of a career. Whether the locker room atmosphere is tense or still functional remains hidden from the outside, but insiders insist that subtle signs of detachment are visible, from body language during timeouts to reduced warmth during post-game interactions. Each small signal gets magnified under the relentless eye of fans and analysts. The business side of basketball also weighs heavily in this conversation. Kuminga, being a young player with high upside, represents not only talent on the court, but also significant trade value. If KERR's supposed refusal to integrate him fully into the team is true, then the Warriors' management must be considering options quietly in the background. Teams across the league are always eager to acquire promising forwards who can defend multiple positions, run the floor, and develop into stars, and Kuminga fits that mold perfectly. This makes the situation even more delicate. Do the Warriors risk losing a coach-player relationship that seems damaged, or do they capitalize on Kuminga's value while he is still regarded as a future star? Fans, as always, are divided. Some argue KERR has earned the right to decide who plays within his system, given the multiple titles he has brought. Others counter that refusing to nurture Kuminga's growth would be short-sighted and damaging to the Warriors' long-term competitiveness. The debate rages on across talk shows, podcasts, and social media, feeding the rumor into something bigger than perhaps it was initially. And of course, we cannot forget the human side of this alleged fracture. For Kuminga, still early in his career, hearing his coach express something as harsh as "he doesn't play with me anymore" could be devastating. Confidence is everything for young players, and trust between coach and player often defines whether a career takes off or fizzles prematurely. If the statement is confirmed, it suggests not just a professional disagreement, but an emotional rupture, where KERR no longer believes in the player's willingness or ability to adapt to his system. This creates an uphill battle for Kuminga, who must either prove his worth in limited opportunities or quietly accept a future elsewhere. The psychological toll of such a rumor cannot be underestimated, as it places him under the harsh spotlight where every mistake will be framed as proof of KERR's words. Meanwhile, every highlight play will be used by fans to argue the opposite, claiming KERR is being unjust. In this tug-of-war of narratives, Kuminga's actual performance almost becomes secondary, overshadowed by the drama of what may or may not have been said behind closed doors. When analyzing the possible consequences of Steve Kerr's alleged words, it becomes impossible not to think about the Warriors' future identity. The franchise has already secured its place in NBA history with multiple championships, but the question now is about sustainability. Every dynasty reaches a point where transition becomes unavoidable, and Kuminga, along with other young pieces, was supposed to be part of that bridge from past to future. If KERR truly sees no role for him in his system, then the Warriors face a dangerous gap between their aging stars and the next generation. In this scenario, the rumor about KERR's blunt statement may symbolize more than just tension with one player. It could represent the difficulty of balancing loyalty to veterans with the responsibility of grooming successors. This balancing act is one of the toughest challenges for any coach, and KERR now finds himself painted as someone reluctant to fully embrace change. Whether that perception is fair or not, it is gaining traction, and in today's NBA, perception often becomes reality. For a franchise under constant scrutiny, every word, every rumor, and every whisper can impact how players, agents, and fans view the overall direction. The media has, of course, amplified this narrative with relentless intensity. Sports shows debate endlessly whether KERR has lost touch with his younger players or whether Kuminga has failed to meet the expectations placed on him. Analysts dissect game tape, pointing out moments when Kuminga seemed hesitant, mismatched defensively, or disengaged offensively, using those clips to justify why KERR may feel frustrated. Others compile highlight reels showing his explosiveness, his dunks, his flashes of brilliance, arguing that KERR's system is stifling his natural talent. This constant back and forth creates a polarized environment where truth is almost impossible to separate from opinion. Social media platforms, meanwhile, have become battlegrounds of speculation, with fans posting theories about locker room divisions, potential trades, and even supposed conversations between KERR and other members of the coaching staff. The rumor has grown legs, evolving from one alleged comment into an ongoing saga that now defines much of the Warriors' media narrative. For the team, this presents a distraction at a time when focus on the court is crucial. Every bad quarter or sloppy possession only fuels the storyline, giving more life to the controversy. Behind the scenes, there are also business considerations that cannot be ignored. Kuminga's contract situation, combined with the financial weight of keeping a veteran-heavy roster, means that every decision involving him has implications beyond basketball. The Warriors are already known for paying one of the highest payrolls in the league, and the luxury tax penalties loom large. If KERR truly does not see Kuminga as a long-term fit, then trading him while his value remains high could serve both basketball and financial purposes. On the other hand, if management believes Kuminga is part of their future, then siding with him could mean quietly challenging KERR's influence. This tug-of-war between coach and front office has played out countless times in NBA history, and usually one side has to compromise. For fans, the fear is clear. Losing either a proven coach or a promising young player could drastically reshape the team's identity. Speculation about rival teams already monitoring the situation adds more fuel to the fire. Franchises hungry for talent are said to be keeping an eye on Kuminga's availability, and whispers suggest that a phone call or two may have already been placed. Before we continue, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss any exclusive Dubs updates. Let's keep going. The psychological impact on Kuminga cannot be overstated. A young player thrives when he feels trusted, and doubts from his coach, even rumored ones, can create cracks in confidence that are difficult to repair. Imagine stepping onto the court every night knowing people are watching not just your performance, but whether your coach even wants you there. For Kuminga, this rumor could shape how he plays, how aggressive he feels, and even how his teammates treat him. Teammates may rally around him, offering encouragement, but they may also distance themselves to avoid conflict with the coaching staff. These dynamics matter because basketball is not just about skill, it is about chemistry, energy, and belief. If Kuminga feels unwanted, his body language could shift, his decision-making could hesitate, and suddenly his natural athleticism does not shine as it should. These small psychological battles play out quietly, invisible to most fans, but they have profound consequences on careers. In Kuminga's case, the burden of proving himself while carrying the weight of KERR's rumored dismissal is a heavy one. Whether he uses it as motivation or crumbles under the spotlight remains to be seen. For Steve Kerr, the stakes are equally high. Known for his calm demeanor, his reputation as a player's coach, and his ability to unify rosters, KERR now faces questions about whether his approach has grown rigid. Critics argue that his reliance on veteran players shows an unwillingness to adapt, while defenders insist that sticking with proven winners is exactly why the Warriors have remained competitive. But this rumor strikes at KERR's image more deeply than a simple tactical debate. If he is perceived as alienating young talent, his ability to attract and develop future stars could be damaged. Agents talk, players talk, and the NBA is a tight community where reputation matters as much as strategy. KERR must now manage not only his team's on-court performance, but also the public perception of his relationship with Kuminga. A single press conference, a carefully chosen sentence, could calm the storm or make it explode. So far, silence has only allowed speculation to grow, and the longer he waits to address it, the more fans and media assume there is truth behind the whispers. For KERR, this is a dangerous place to be, one where words weigh heavier than victories. And finally, the future hangs in balance, undefined and full of possibilities. If this rumor fades away, dismissed as nothing more than a misinterpreted comment, then Kuminga and KERR may move forward, their relationship tested but intact. But if it continues to grow, if every substitution pattern and box score is seen through the lens of conflict, then the Warriors may be forced into making decisions sooner than expected. A trade involving Kuminga could reshape the roster, bringing in new talent but also marking the end of what was once a promising partnership. Alternatively, management could choose to back the player, signaling a shift in organizational priorities and challenging KERR to adapt. Either way, the Warriors' path will not remain static. Rumors, as fragile and unconfirmed as they may be, often set in motion real consequences in the NBA. What began as a whispered phrase attributed to Steve Kerr, "He doesn't play with me anymore," has now become a storyline shaping opinions, expectations, and possibly even the destiny of the franchise. The next games, the next interviews, the next decisions will all be watched with sharper eyes, waiting to see which way the winds of truth will blow. Stay updated exclusively with the latest Dub Nation news. Subscribe to our channel and hit the like button to keep getting daily updates on the Warriors. Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Your input is essential for the Dubs community. Stay tuned for the next video.